Hey guys and gals, this is Sonic Arrow with the Tier 10 Russian heavy tank, the IS-7, and this thing is a beast frontally. 240mm of armor on the front of the turret and 150mm of armor on the front of the hull. However, if you take a look at the upper plate, it is very well sloped. So basically the only weakness is when you're going around a corner and your lower plate, which is not as well sloped as the upper plate. Also, if you take a look at the hatches, they're actually very difficult to hit, if you can hit them at all, because they are recessed inside the turret a little bit. The IS-7 is equipped with a 130mm cannon, 250mm of penetration, 490 alpha damage, and the premium rounds are 303mm of penetration. Those are APCR rounds. So those will definitely cost you a lot, 4,800. But this is a tier 10 vehicle, so you are not expected to make money out of playing these things, I guess. Now at range, the IS-7 armor is almost impenetrable. You're gonna get penetrated by maybe the extremely high penetration tank destroyers, if they can hit you. And the artillery, I suppose, because they're hitting the top of your vehicle, and that is not as well armored. And back to the armor, the side armor is also 150mm thick, and it's also got the spaced, a little bit of spaced armor on the side, which can absorb a bunch of shells. So you can side scrape with this thing, just make sure you don't expose the front of your vehicle, where the pike nose will be a detriment when you're side scraping, because they could just shoot straight through that. 100mm at the rear of the hull. The turret is 185mm thick on the side and 94 at the rear, so here's an enemy IS-7, so I guess we're going to see a little bit of the armor on that IS-7 as well. I'm just making sure that I do not get shot in the side. It looks like those guys are being kept busy, and we can see that the rate of fire on the 130mm cannon is not that great. Now I'm trying to hit the lower plate of the IS-7, but he's doing a pretty good job at well, avoiding my shots. It is 4.38 round per minute rate of fire, so that's not that great, and 0.4 accuracy, so that's pretty terrible. You're gonna have to really get close up, especially with the 3.1 second aim time of the cannon. But if you manage to if you manage to land a hit, where's that lower plate? Nope, didn't get it there. So even just the slightest of slopes will definitely help you hide the lower plate. So I'm really trying to get the lower plate here. Oh, there we go. He's backing off, and he went up on top of a little bit of terrain, so I managed to catch the lower plate there. Here he comes, side armor. I'm not sure why he's doing that. So I bounced him as well. Fastest reload time of the IS-7 you can get it down to is 11.56 seconds. And I'm being shot at by something else as well. So that's not good, especially if I'm trying to come around and take out this IS-7. But I take the risk, barely aim, and oh, that was another shot. So long range, the IS-7 is very difficult to penetrate. Up close and personal, you can start picking out the weak points. Ooh, and there's something I should be taking out. There it is. That's the vehicle that was shooting. Oh, I just bounced a shot from something from the side. From the T-34, it seems. If you can get hull down in the IS-7, you are almost impenetrable, and you're really going to hope that you don't have any artillery on the team. There we go, that's the first and second shot that penetrated me from the 50B firing premium gold rounds. But it's kind of expected. The IS-7, the E-100, they usually get a lot of premium rounds fired at them because, well, they're really difficult to penetrate. I suppose the mouse as well, but I haven't seen many of those around. And there's the artillery taking a shot at me. But 0 damage, so that's awesome. Ah. And the 50B, it seems, has pretty good hull armor as well. especially for 250 millimeters of penetration. You really have to get up close in the IS-7, otherwise you're going to take a lot of time aiming and waiting for the enemy to pop out again. Making sure that nobody just sneaks up behind me. Oh, and this IS-8, he's taking all the hits now because he's very easy to penetrate. I should mention 400 meter view range, so that's not too bad. If you want coated optics on this thing, you can probably do a lot of spotting, maybe, but this is a more close range vehicle. Ouch. Don't expose my side. Why is he still aiming at me? Oh, he's not even... okay. Let's just put a shot in, why not? So this little bit of terrain is enough to hide my lower plate, and if I don't turn my turret to the side, it's really hard to penetrate. There's an MX-30 just showed up, that's not good. Oh, I forgot to mention I am platooned with Iced Tennis for me. Okay, and he's actually headed back to base to defend it, since we kind of overloaded this side with many tanks. And right now I'm trying to just come in here and take out something, but it seems like everybody can penetrate me, so except the AMX-30 from behind, which is weird. Unfortunately, the 50B was loaded. I probably should have waited until he expended his shells and was starting to load again. So that's the end of the game for me. Here we have Ice-T, or Ice Tennis, I should say, on 159 health, so that's not too much. We do have a T110E3, 416, and a Centurion 7-1. So, we should win, I hope. I managed to take out the Object 907, which was the tier 10 medium tank, and that was more important than firing at a T-34, which is slow, sluggish, and a very poor rate of fire. It does have a really good cannon, but it's a heavy tank, it's going to be easily spotted, and most of these things were not going through my head at the time. What I was thinking was, take out the tier 10 first, because that's a medium tank, and those things definitely do a lot of damage when there are very few tanks on low health left. The T-34, with this monstrous alpha damage, well, he's going to take a long time. Even if he kills Ice Tennis first, he's going to waste a lot of damage and time reloading before he can fire at something else. The 907 has a really fast reload and definitely can take out more targets because they are on low health. So it's a little bit risky coming down here, but it doesn't look like the AMX-30 is around spotting anymore, and the 50B may not be there anymore. But we're going to see what happens. Our Centurion 7-1, alright, he's moving up. We'll see if the AMX-30 gets spotted and put a huge shell into him, hopefully. And while all this is happening, I forgot to say that the IS-7 has a top speed of 60 kilometers per hour. You won't reach that on flat terrain, but when you're going down a hill, you can definitely ram with the 68 to 70 tons of Russian tank and do a lot of damage that way. Of course, you're going to have to keep in mind that most of the German tanks are heavier, so don't ram any of those things unless they're on really low health. Six degrees of gun depression and 18 degrees of gun elevation. We'll see if this Centurion spots anything when he goes over the hill. There should be a T-34 around here unless he's left. Nope, there he is. And what's going to happen? Oh, come on. Why is it taking so long? There we go. The artillery bags him. 30 rounds of ammunition the IS-7 can hold, but due to the high amount of alpha damage that this thing has... Oh, there goes our artillery. That's not good. Yeah, that wasn't going to work out. So the max of 30 rounds in the IS-7 is not going to be too bad. The high alpha will mitigate that. You can do a lot of damage without having to fire a lot. If you take a look at my hit log, I did penetrate 8 shells, and that did 3,189 damage, so you don't have to have a huge amount of shells. So you can actually hold a bunch of HE and premium rounds if you want as well. So this is a good situation. The AMX-30 has lots of gun depression, and the 416 has barely any, and the Centurion isn't doing so well either. Come on. Oh, there's the 50B. There he is. Object, what are you doing? Ooh. Okay. Well. It's a good thing we've got 2 heavily armored tank destroyers over here. Should be able to bounce anything coming in at them when they are capping it out. So we'll make sure, or Ice Tennis is making sure that the artillery isn't just hiding in the bush right directly in front of him. So I'm really hoping he's not, actually, because... okay, well, the enemy team is capping as well. Doesn't look like the artillery is right in front of him, so that's good. And now comes the hard part. So there's 2 of us in the enemy cap, and there's only 1 of them in their cap, in our cap, I should say. Which means something is coming back, and it's probably the AMX-30, because that's a pretty fast tank. Now, should these tank destroyers hide behind houses? Probably not, because that's mostly where people try to hide. Around the houses. So if the artillery decides that he wants to fire at anything in the cap circle, usually it's around the houses, unless he's really far away. Oh, there's the MX-30. You can reset. No. 0 damage HE. Oh, and there's the artillery as well. Second class mastery badge. I did the stated 3,189 damage. All of my hits met something, with 3 kills, 861 points of experience. I've been saying Ice Tennis. It is Ice T is for me. I'm sorry. The screen I'm looking at is really small, so it looked like an N instead of an A. 12 shots fired, 12 hit, 8 penetrations, with the 14 hits received, so 8 bounces. Really nice, and that's from a few from the 50B, so that's not actually a tier 10 vehicle. 2,580 damage blocked by armor. And if I had a premium account, I do have a premium account, so I made 17,800 credits. Non-premium, I would have lost 800 credits. That's not too bad. This is a tier 10 vehicle. They're not known for making money. In fact, nothing is known for making money except for the tier 8s, the tier 8 premiums, I should say. And I suppose the tier 6 and 7 vehicles, they make a decent amount. The tier 7s definitely drop off. And somehow I got some assistance damage as well. I'm not sure how that happened. So I'm sorry about that. Ice-T is for me. Thanks for watching. This is the IS-7. I'll see you in future videos. Please leave a like and leave some comments. Bye-bye.